Awesome. Okay, so we are live, we are recording, and we are so excited.
Yes.
Okay, so those of you that are starting to recognize the flow of this, every Thursday I will be here live with a resource within reach to bring to you just some more support, some more resources. This is the Resources Within Reach series. It's a 12-week series. We may end up continuing it because I love doing it. I'm in a makeshift setup now. We're having lots of snow in Indiana. Jamie's in Florida, so we will be sure to touch on that here shortly. But I want to welcome you all that are tuning in live. We're so glad you're here. If you're not able to be here live, you can catch us on the replay for podcasts, YouTube, all the places. We'll have the replay for you and have Jamie's contact information as well in all of the comments and show notes. I am Christy Fries. I am your host of Care by Christy Share the Care Show. And of course, this is the Resources Within Reach series. And welcome, Jamie. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me, Christy.
Yay, you're so welcome. So for those of you that don't know, Jamie and I met on Instagram, which is like incredible.
I know.
We feel like we know each other. We're real good friends.
Yep.
So let's just kind of get right to it. I would love if you would just start by sharing a little bit about you, who you are, where you're at, all that good stuff.
Okay, great. Well, again, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. My name's Jamie Williams, and I started Home Safety Coach. I have been a physical therapist assistant for the past 12 years, and my husband is also a therapist. And for the past 3 years, we have been travel therapists, which means we travel the country. I know, helping people. And right now we are in Florida. And I want to say we're stuck in Florida because of the pandemic, but oh my goodness, what better place to be stuck in, especially with all the snow. So we're so happy to be here. But we do miss traveling, so hopefully we'll be hitting the road soon again. But so the majority of my career has been in home health, and I have literally helped thousands of people increase their safety and independence so that they can stay in their home longer and avoid going to the hospital and rehab. And so I love home health. I'm so passionate about it. And the majority of the people that I meet, they just want to stay home. And that's what I want to do is to help them do that and live the life that they want. But when the pandemic hit and the country was shut down, so were we. Right. And so there were no travel contracts for us. And so I was so desperate to still help people. And I was so worried about now, everyone is stuck at home. And now more than ever, people need to learn how to stay safe at home. And I know how to help them. And so instead of just waiting for a travel therapy contract, I thought, wait a minute, with this pandemic, the one positive thing that has come out of it is teaching people how they could still connect online. Yes. And I thought, wait a minute, I could still reach so many people online and not just wait for a travel therapy contract. So that's what I did. And I started Home Safety Coach. And so I'm so excited about it because, when people meet me for therapy, it's because something bad already happened. Yeah. And I want to teach people how to improve their safety and independence before anything bad happens so that they can, prevent it. So
fascinating. So a couple things that I just want to unpack a little bit. Yeah. First, I'm still so fascinated at the travel aspect of it. I know COVID has put a kink in that a little bit, but that part of it is it's just so amazing because you're able to twofold, like you said, with the reach that you can have via the internet, but also the reach and the impact that you're making by being able to go state to state or city to city and provide that to people, because the information that you have is not geographically bound. There are people that want to stay home all across our country.
Exactly. And that's what was the coolest thing that no matter where we were, say, San Francisco, every single patient had the exact same goal. They just wanted to stay home and avoid going back to the hospital or rehab. Because pretty much when I see someone, it's because they just, had a fall,
Sure.
went to the hospital, went to rehab, they just came home and they don't want to go back.
Yeah,
And I always, when I meet people, I said, we have the same goal. My job is to keep you home. That's my goal. And they said, oh yes, please don't send me back there.
yeah,
And so it's really exciting. And I absolutely love being able to give people what they want because they deserve it. They worked so hard for their home
for
and
sure.
they love their life. And I've seen so many heartbreaking times where people literally just because of a fall, they lose it all. And, nobody plans on a fall. Nobody thinks it's going to happen to them. And, when they fall, a lot of times they have to go to the hospital because of a, broken hip
Right.
and which takes surgery. And then, they
Re-
go to rehab. Exactly. And it's sometimes months before they come home.
yeah,
And, a lot of times I've met people in rehab and they weren't going to go back home. And it's so heartbreaking.
yeah. I've heard that a lot. We kind of talked about this right before we hopped on, but that is my experience has always been in a senior living community.
Right.
And it's probably 90 to 95% of the people that would show up to tour or to inquire. It wasn't just for
Yes.
fun. It was because
Right.
all had happened or a
Yes.
crisis has happened. And I'm
Right.
right with you. If you want to stay home, I want you to stay home. I
Yes.
just want you to do it safely.
Right, exactly. And I'm all for, the opposite of that. If you're not safe at home, you should not be there.
For
You
sure.
need to go to assisted living. And I'm a huge advocate for assisted living. I see so much of them that help these people get their life back.
Yeah.
And they do feel so safe and independent there, and just with help around, outside in the hallway if they need it.
Yeah.
So it's so awesome. But the people who want to stay home, like that's my mission. If they want to stay home, I want to help them. And I do know how to do it. That's the thing.
Yeah. You even shared when we touched base, I feel like it was probably like a month or 2 months ago.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that. When did we talk last?
I
It's been
don't
a
even
little
know.
while.
But the story that you had shared with me was that you were simply able to just teach this gentleman, I believe it was, how to get out of his chair.
Right, right.
The world
And
is
that's
over. You just need some tools.
exactly. And that's the thing. This gentleman that you're talking about, I think it's the one that I told you about where, when I met him, he just all of a sudden stopped being able to stand without his wife's help. And this was a gentleman who, would get up every morning, go get the paper, maybe take a walk around the park or around the neighborhood. And then he would like to go fishing every now and then. He just really liked his independence. Well, all of a sudden, he couldn't stand without his wife helping him. And so he was really down. And the wife was also like, didn't know what to do because now she lost the life that she knew. She couldn't, go shopping with her friends or go to bridge club because she couldn't leave him. And so when I met them, they were both so down and didn't know what to do. Like, is this it for us? What do we do from here?
On their
And literally, I mean, this is what's so cool about my job. Within 5 minutes, I taught him the right technique to stand, and he stood from every surface in his house on the first try with nobody's help. And it was all about technique. And that is what's so mind blowing because, people will think like, how are you going to teach me how to stand? I've stood my whole life. I know how to stand. And what people don't realize is as we age, we stop losing or using the right technique because as people age, they start getting a little bit weaker. Maybe they start getting a little fearful and they compensate and they actually stop using the right technique and they don't even realize it. They don't even know it. They think they're doing the same thing but getting different results and they're not. And it takes someone like me to just break it down into super simple steps. And when they follow it, so they hear me explain it, they see me visually demonstrate it, then they do it and feel it, and their mind is blown. And literally, that's like one of the best things I love to teach, because it works every time. And everybody's like, their mouth is wide open and they're like, what else you got?
Right?
And I'm like, oh, that's one tool. I got so many other things to teach you.
That was a 5 minute.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's so, so fun. Yeah, I love that. In fact, when I meet somebody, I always tell them, when I see you for the first time, I imagine that you're holding an empty toolbox. And every time I come, I'm literally giving you another tool to fix something. And just like in our home, if there's something broken, what do? You go to the toolbox and you get a tool to fix it. Well, same thing in your mobility. If there's something wrong, I have the tool to fix it. And I'm so excited to show you how to use it.
That is so fascinating. I love that so much. I also just love that you have taken your background, your physical therapy background, and implemented this in something that I don't see anybody else doing this. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there's maybe like an arm of it of some kind out there, but like truly being able to give simple, practical tips and tools that people can just implement instantly. Like it's not a process. It's not like, okay, well, I'll try that
Right.
and then in a couple weeks it'll work. Like right now.
Right. It is that simple. And that's what's so exciting. I had this one lady the other day who was, I think we were called in because I think she fell, another fall.
Sure.
And she was actually just, we were called in to like treat her weakness and stuff like that, balance, stuff like, and she was worried about her gait pattern. She was like telling me she wants to make an appointment with a neurologist. She was worried about something really wrong with her because she wasn't walking right. And another 5-minute ordeal literally taught her these simple techniques. She was giddy. Like, this was an 85-year-old lady who was giddy like a schoolgirl. She was like so excited. I have tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like so exciting. And she was another one, like, what else you got? I'm like, let's go through it all,
For sure.
and it's
so empowering.
Yes, yeah, it's so exciting. But I love what I do, and I'm thinking, why in the world are we waiting for people to need therapy to learn these things? I want to teach people how to prevent things so that they don't need therapy. I want to increase their safety, reduce their fall risk, increase their independence with their mobility so that they don't need therapy. And that's the thing. When I meet somebody after, something bad happens, it always breaks my heart, because I always think, I wish I could have met them before. And now I can through the internet.
Yeah, it's incredible. That is something I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where I initially thought I would have workshops, I would do in-person kind of like powwow meetings, and then the world
Right.
shut down, and
Right.
I was like, wait a second, I can make a bigger impact. I can
Totally.
more people because this has happened. And
Exactly.
I'm also right there with you. I've helped over 4,400 families navigate this
That's
process.
awesome.
And every single family, I'm like, I wish I could have just met you like a couple months ago.
Right.
I wish
Right.
I wish I would have had the time or the resources to educate just a
Right.
base foundation that people like you
Right.
exist, that resources
Yeah.
exist. Because when they come, they're like, send help. I don't, this
Yes,
bad thing just happened,
exactly.
and I don't know what to do.
Right.
So I think
Right.
it's so impactful and again, so empowering for people to hear these things and learn these things and then do them. And then
Yeah.
it's come from them. It's not somebody else doing the work. It's
That's
them doing the work.
that's what I always tell people, I can give you all those tools. It's up to you to use them. And if I could do it for you, I would in a heartbeat, but I can't.
Sure.
And that's what gives people so much confidence when, when people have a fall, fear sets in, and the only way to get rid of fear is to build up confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to build up confidence is to do something successful again and again. And when I show them this thing in 5 minutes and they do it, a little bit of confidence increases,
Yeah.
and a little bit of fear. And then every time it's like literally confidence increases, fear decreases, and it just keeps going. And I love that because I don't want anyone to be afraid, because fear is debilitating and that will actually make you fall just because you're afraid.
Right.
But when you have that confidence, it's so exciting. And then you have, your hopes and dreams back.
Yes.
You see yourself like still in your house, and you don't have to give it up. And it's so rewarding. I cannot explain it. I'm so passionate about it. I
Yeah.
just love
You
what
can
I do.
totally tell, and you are such a gift to so many people. I'm sure that you've said
Aw,
that before, but you really
thank
are.
you.
You're welcome. And I call those micro promises, those wins that you were talking about. I call those micro promises because when we fulfill the micro promise, our intuition is like, oh, we did that. We said we were going to do that, and we did that successfully in these people's
I
cases.
love that.
And then it's like a compound effect. You keep micro promising and you keep fulfilling your micro promise to yourself. And then when you need to tap into your intuition, it's right there with you. And
It's
you know
there.
that you're doing the right thing.
I love that. I really do. That's the thing, a lot of this too is, everyone can benefit from this, but a lot of the people who really need my services are not online, and, but their children are. And
Yes.
their children are so desperate to help them. And there are sometimes, especially my Florida patients, their families are in a different state. These people have like retired to Florida,
Yep.
and then they don't realize like, uh-oh, now when I need help, my kids are no longer here. What do I do? And then the kids are like, uh-oh, now mom and dad needs help and I'm 1,000 miles away. What do I do? And so they're frantically searching the internet to find like, how do I help mom and dad at home? And how do I, reduce their fall risk, improve their balance? And so that's the thing. It doesn't just have to be the person that I'm speaking with. I can actually teach their kids how to help them. If they don't have access to the internet, I can teach their kids and they could teach them. It's that simple. It really is.
Oh,
Oh,
I love that. I call them family caregivers because I was trying to,
yes.
for a long time, figure out when we were in a senior living community setting, it was always adult children. And that's like
Right.
what we called you adult children, but
Right. Right.
they're family caregivers because it's not always the child. It may be a spouse, it may be another family member, but you're right.
That is so true. It could be anybody. It could even just be a neighbor that wants to help. You're
Yeah.
right.
But you're spot on about going to the internet. That's like why I'm here. I'm on the internet, but that is how I am getting connected to people, is
Right.
really just saying, hey, I can save you so much time, energy, and money doing
Right.
this on your own, going to Google, like, what would you even Google search first? And,
Exactly.
and
Right.
shortening that gap. It's kind of like, um, I'm not sure if you've heard the phrase like writing a check to go faster. Like,
I haven't.
because like if you need to get somewhere, you could learn how to do each and every step. You could
Right.
have done the 10-year experience in a senior living community and networked and done all the things, but let me do it
Right.
for you. And
Exactly.
my one of the coaches that I have, she actually used my services, and she said that it saved her 18 to 25 hours searching on her own.
That is so exciting. That's the thing with your services, things I don't know. I know the mobility and the safety at home aspect of it, but other than that, I honestly can't help them. And so
That's
that's
your
why I
specialty.
love to connect with you, because you are that liaison. Yes.
I love it. But you are the specialty. And so yes, I have the connections and the resources, and I'm so passionate about researching what those are. What's the newest resource? What's the newest
Right.
specialty or boutique service that somebody's offering, so that when people come to me, I can get them to you, or I
Yeah,
can
I
get them
love that.
to the right person based on
Yeah.
what they're telling me. That's just how my ear has been trained. I'm like, oh, you need this
Yes.
person, and Jamie with Home Safety
Yep. Yep. And that's the thing, like we all need to work together, and it works so well for the patient and the family, or for the person, the family, because, not any of us have all the answers.
Nope.
We have, but we do make a great team to
Mhm.
literally give them exactly what they need.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, I love it so much. Okay. I know we've kind of just like been trailblazing and doing our thing, and I love it so much, but I do want to touch on the three biggest reasons why people fall.
And that's the thing. Most of the people that I see is because of a fall. And, the three biggest reasons that I would say is, weakness, first of all, which causes poor technique. And so I, touched on that a little bit where they don't even realize that they're doing the wrong technique, but
Right.
because of their weakness, they're compensating and stuff like that.
Sure.
So they're not getting up right. And then also, just poor safety awareness. They're just not, maybe using their assistive device like they should. A lot of people will like park it and then
Yeah.
walk away from it and take a few steps to their chair, and that drives me crazy.
Ah!
In fact, the other day I had a home health visit, and my patient, I could see him, he had that like a side window beside the door, and I could see him in the living room, and he needed to get up and like walk over to unlock the door for me. And I am watching him and I'm like freaking out. I was freaking out so much because he wasn't doing the right thing. And I called him, and he's like, thankfully he stopped and answered the phone. I'm like, Dawn, okay, let me just review. I can watch you. I'm watching you through the window. Please let me go over a couple things because I don't want you to have a fall. The door is locked.
Look
And
at you
so
helping before you even get in the door.
it was so funny. He like stopped. He's like, he laughed. He was like, you're right. I'm sorry. I was trying to hurry. I'm like, that's what happens. I'm like, don't hurry. I have, plenty of time. Take your time. Do it right. Do it what we talked about.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we totally reviewed a ton once he opened the door. I'm like, all right, let's go back to basics. But yeah, so poor safety awareness is another one that is huge, where they just get in a too much of a hurry, or maybe they don't wear like non-skid socks or shoes, and they just do something that's unsafe. And so a lot of times, we're teaching good safety awareness. We want people to think and to prevent a fall. But then the last thing is too, like just their home environment. Sometimes I'll walk in and the home is like so dark. I can't even like read my blood pressure cuff because I can't even see it. And they live in that environment. And what a lot of people don't realize is 80% of your balance has to do with your vision. So when you can't see, your balance is off. And so, that's why we recommend like night lights in the middle of the night when you get up to go to the bathroom. If it's pitch black, you can't see, so your balance is off. And people don't realize that. So sometimes it's poor lighting, or maybe they need like a grab bar. And so those are probably the three biggest things that we see, and all are fixable. A lot of times they just didn't know. And I
Right.
always tell people, it's okay. You don't know what you don't know. That's why I'm here.
Right.
And, it's super simple to learn these techniques, to learn the techniques for mobility, how to improve your safety awareness inside, and then also your home environment. A lot of things, it's like just, a couple bucks to improve something, and you're so much safer. So I definitely see those three things. But I wanted to talk about falls because the statistics of falls will blow your mind. And this is like the latest statistics for this from the CDC.
Okay.
1 in 4 of Americans age 65 and older fall every year. 25% of the older population fall every single year. But the worst part is every day, 88 people die from a fall. 88 older people die from a fall. This is so heartbreaking for me because I know how to reduce the fall risk. And when I heard that after starting Home Safety Coach and doing this research, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, why are we waiting for people to fall and get therapy so that we can teach them how they could have prevented it, when I know how to reduce the numbers now?
Yeah.
It is life changing for people, and they don't realize it. People don't think they're going to fall, and hindsight's always 2020. You could always look back and say, well, I should have done this or I should have done that. But if you know how to prevent it, it's going to reduce your fall risk drastically. And it's super simple things. I'm not going to teach anything that is even hard at all. It's always simple.
It's life-saving is what it sounds
really
like.
Is. That's so true. That really is. Yep. It's life-saving.
And
that's so true.
It's just, I I could go on and on about the stories and the situations that I've seen of people. It's just a domino effect.
It
Once all
is.
happens that nobody thinks is going to happen to them.
Yes.
And it's not, it's like you're saying, it's not to say to be fearful that you're going
Right.
to fall. It's
Right.
proactive
Right.
to move some of those things out of the way. I can't tell you how many houses I've seen before somebody moves into a
Yes.
community that is jam packed. They can't
Oh
even move
yeah.
around.
Oh yeah. I see it. Yep.
And then the same thing with the mobility devices. Like I used to joke all the time at my senior living communities that, hold on, my computer's being sassy. At my senior living communities that if I had a seat and a buggy that had a basket, I'd be carrying that around all the time. You'd be seeing me walking through Target with my little walker basket.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
I mean, you just have like a all-in-one
It's
basket.
perfect. You have a cart, you have a seat, you have everything with you. Why aren't you using it? It's awesome.
Yeah, I know. And I think that if people truly, I think it's just a limiting belief that's within them.
Yeah.
I think that they just associate that with being old or something being
Right.
wrong with them or it being like
Right.
taboo. Like when we can break that stigma down, which is what we are here to do. If
Absolutely.
you're in the younger generation and you see these benefits, you have to share it and you have to talk
Yes.
about it openly because when they see us talking about it, they're like, oh, well, if
Yeah.
you think it's cool, like it must be cool.
Exactly. And I always tell people because a lot of times, especially it seems to be the men where they, are given a walker in, rehab and they come home with it. And my first visit, they're like, okay, how long do I need to use this? And it's like they're already ready to like get rid of it. They can't wait. They wish I could say today.
Yeah,
And it's like, well, hang on a second. Like, what if you had to use it forever, but it kept you home and safe and independent and not going back to the hospital and rehab? Wouldn't it be worth it? Would it be better to use a walker forever than be in a wheelchair? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So education is huge. And when you kind of explain that to people, then they realize, oh, okay. And a lot of people too think like if I start using it, I'm going to get dependent on it and need it forever. And that is absolutely not true. So they try to like walk away from it. I don't need it. I don't need it. And I
right.
always explain to people, you could totally improve your balance and your mobility where you don't need it. But let's like kind of get through the process. Let's not like jump ahead because you're going to have a fall and then we're going to start all over again.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it is, yeah, definitely important for education and just to explain it because it's not a bad thing.
right. It's not a bad thing. And I don't know, it's just not as taboo and as
No,
forbidden or scary as people, sometimes think that it is. And it's almost like kind of rushing to get to the other side of it instead of
right.
potentially just enjoying the process, which I know,
Exactly.
especially for men that are,
Yeah,
they're very prideful and very independent.
right.
Like, I hear you and I see you, but I
Right.
also want you to be safe so that you can keep being independent and proud.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the hardest part for them to get. And that is one of the hardest parts about my job is to see that and like really know what's on the other side of it if they don't do it. And just trying to really just being real with them, but not being, negative or not
Right,
being like,
right.
putting fear in them, but just being real and just, being their biggest cheerleader and showing them what's possible. And I love that. That's what I love about my job.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I can tell, and I'm sure, like, I'm confident that you are so, so good at that. People are like, yes, get Jamie
Aw.
in here. Like, yes, sign me up for that. I want all your simple tricks.
Aw.
And I know we're going to talk about like how to connect with you, but your Instagram is a wealth of information. There's
Aw,
stuff.
thank you.
Yeah, it's simple. Like, simple is my word for 2021, which is why like I love that it keeps coming up here because it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be hard. It doesn't
No,
have to.
it's so easy.
Yeah, it's just knowing who can help you and listening to their advice and implementing it into your life and then being able to be successful in whatever way that makes sense for you. It's different for
Exactly. Right, right.
everybody.
That's so true. Thank you for that because I have so much information to give and I don't want to like dump it. So I try to do like a little bit every day, a little thing, but I'm like, oh, I want to tell everybody so many different things.
Oh, I'm
But
with you,
yeah,
girlfriend. I am with you. I am like, wait a second, Christy. They don't people don't even know what you're talking about yet. Maybe start at the beginning.
I know. I get so excited.
Hey, I'm so with you on that. So another question that I have, I feel like we've kind of touched on advice that you have for like, the before and after. I feel like I feel like that kind of makes sense. Do you have anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, no, just definitely like, before a fall, it's learning how to prevent it, learning the right techniques. But after a fall, like we talked about with the fear, that is the biggest thing. And I see that, I even had somebody tell me like, their mom just gave up. She just stopped walking after her fall, and she was so afraid. And that's so hard. But what happens is you have to relearn the techniques like as soon as you can and do it again and again to succeed. The repetition of success will totally increase your confidence, reduce your fear. But if you like, some people say, well, wait, let me just use the wheelchair for a couple months until I no longer am afraid and I feel confident. That it doesn't happen like that. Yeah. You cannot use the wheelchair unless you have to, like if something's broken or whatever, but like it's so important.
Action.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to get up and do it, and I always have people like, I break things down into really successful bites. Like I would never go in after a fall and say, okay, we're going to go outside and walk around the block. They'd be like, no. I tell people we're gonna walk to the counter. Like, let's walk to the counter when these are people who are deathly afraid to stand at all. Sure. And, we might talk, we might walk like, 4 steps and they're like, oh, it's not that bad. And then we sit and take a break and then we walk 8. And then, in fact, I had a patient like that who was deathly afraid of getting out of bed. And I saw her for probably, I want to say 4 weeks before she got out of bed. And it was all fear. But I was not giving up on her. And I was her biggest cheerleader. And one day she was ready to sit at the edge of the bed. And that was huge because she wouldn't even want to sit. She was so afraid. And she sat, and that was okay with me. That was a huge win. And I praised her and was so excited. The next time she stood, that was it. I was like through the roof excited, like we just won the lottery. And then the next time she wanted to take a couple steps. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We took 4 and it was like she walked a mile. I was screaming with excitement. She was crying. I was crying.
I have goosebumps about it right now.
The next time it was 8 steps. And that woman who was afraid to even sit at the edge of the bed walked probably 500 feet at the end without her walker, and literally, I kid you not, did one of those little like side kicks to like when it was done. Like I was like crying my eyes out because she was a success, and it was all because of fear that was going to debilitate her, and I was not going to give up on her. I wanted her to be a success. I believed in her, and I believed in her enough until she believed in herself. And it worked, and it was so exciting. I keep in touch with a lot of my patients because when you go to someone's home and you have that connection, you like become part of the family.
Oh, yes.
And so you can't just like after so long say, okay, good luck to you. I hope it works out. And hope,
no.
Yeah. And so I keep in touch, and I give my cell phone number out to everybody, and I tell them, I'm available. Like, that's the thing. If you can say anything about me, you can say I'm available. I want to be there. If you find my number 3 years from now and have a question about something you went over, please call me. I'd be so happy to go over it with you again. I want to help you. And I love the connection that I meet with, or that I make with my patients. And they're friends for life. Definitely.
For sure. I literally this morning got a random text message, and my cell phone number's been the same since I was like 17. Like, it will never change. And I'm same as you. Like, I always give it out. I feel like if you set the expectation and people know why you're giving it to them, they don't abuse that. And literally this morning, a daughter of a lady that I moved into my last community that I was at, she was like, hey, we're needing some home health. Like, do you have any suggestions? And I just
I
like was able to like
love that.
rattle them all off.
I
And she's
love
like,
that.
oh my gosh, that was so quick. Like, thank you for even remembering us. I'm like, of course I remember you. I
Right.
remember everybody.
And doesn't it feel so good that when they're in need, they thought of Christy? Like, how awesome is that?
Yes, I know. I'm like, oh, I'm here. What do you need?
Yep. Yep.
What do you need?
Yep.
Awesome.
That is it.
Well, I love this so much. So a couple more things. One last
Yeah.
thing is, I would love for you to kind of share, like, what's in the works for you, like what's happening as far as.
Yes. So thank you so much for asking. I
Yes.
am so excited. So one of the ways that I want to teach is so I created an online course where I literally, go through all these step-by-step, super simple techniques on video with video demonstration, but also me teaching it. So you get the visual, you get the audio, but also not just to give people that, it's also with coaching. So it's not like, oh, I'm trying to figure this out. I don't have anybody to ask questions. I will be their coach to go along with it as well. So, and it's literally covering every single area of your day where you're mobile. I'm talking about standing, obviously, walking with an assistive device, with a four-wheeled walker, a two-wheeled walker, a cane, up and down the stairs, getting up from the floor, getting in and out of bed, in and out of the shower, everything, and out of the car. I do a video demonstration of every single thing and go through and break it down. So they will literally the video, but also they will have a printout so that they can actually just print it out and have like the
This is fascinating.
checklist and step-by-step techniques that they have on paper too, so they can and this is a course that they'll have lifetime access to it. It's not like it's only open for 2 weeks, have access to this, and then anytime that I update it, they'll set, but I will be having a webinar to share with everyone and then explain all about what I have to offer. So
Oh my goodness.
I am so excited.
As you should be. That is going to be such an amazing resource. Good for you for doing.
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you
Okay.
hear me too? Okay. I thought
Yeah.
I lost you there for a minute.
Your audio stayed the same for me, but the video was kind of lagging. So
Okay.
that's okay though. Do people find you at homesafetycoach.com?
Yes. So I am at homesafetycoach.com and then Home Safety Coach on Facebook or Instagram. And my email's there. You can email me with any questions, DM me. And yeah. And if on Home Safety Coach, too, I also have a free home safety checklist that gives 18 ways of how to improve your safety at home immediately. Super simple things.
Love that.
And then that signs people up for my email list. And every week I send out like 2 to 3 emails with all kinds of tips that will help people.
Awesome.
And that's where I'll also let everybody know when the webinar is and when the course will be available.
Amazing. That is so exciting. So my video is a little bit frozen, and for that I apologize.
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? We're losing connection.
Talking and then, yeah.
Okay, so one last thing. I just want to, and if we get cut off, it's okay. Well, I would love to just keep doing this. We could always do this again.
I know.
But I would love to hear what your favorite soul care practice is before we hop off. If you have one.
Oh, yes. So
Oh, I lost you. I hope you all can still hear or see Jamie. I don't know if it's my internet or what is happening for us, but Jamie, if you can still hear me, I am going to end our call, but I would love to follow up with this. All right, sorry guys.